Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Spiritually Fucked podcast. I am your host, Taylor Mulholland. Let's get into the show. I have notes today because I am a professional and it's my 4th episode, so I hope you're enjoying. I am still trying to figure things out, and if you're here, I adore you. Thanks for being here. So let's just start off with this self-worth. I want to start off by saying that, and I probably mentioned this 100 times because I keep blaming the planets for everything, and I don't like to give control to the planets because I'm a human being and I don't like to give my control out to external things. But you know what? My world's been pretty rocked this year. I just turned 29. I'm in my Saturn return. And of course, my soul wanted a dramatic life. So I signed up to have my Saturn be in the 10th house of Aries. So if you're an astrology nerd like me, my Saturn return is directly correlated to self-worth and career. And of course, at the same time, I'm trying to quote unquote build a career or do whatever the fuck I'm doing. My self-worth is determining all of that, and my world's been turned upside down because I realized how little self-worth I actually had. And it sounds kind of sad because you look at me and you're like, oh, she seems so confident and bubbly and she makes all these videos. Well, you guess what, guys? Your girl has really low self-worth. Well, I did. I guess I'm learning. It's all a learning lesson, but I really want to share these stories because they've helped me a ton once I uncovered the secret script that was running my life. And that secret script is your self-worth and how you view yourself. And it's a lot more than just looking yourself in the mirror and saying, oh, I love you. I love what I see. Self-love. It's a lot deeper than that. And so how I found this out, well, I looked up my astrology and I said, what is my Saturn return in? Because I'm feeling a lot of these emotions. I don't know what the fuck is happening. And when it literally said it's in the house of self-worth and career, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And I started to just look at my life and my external situations and how they were reflections of what was going on internally. And internally, I guess I felt really low about myself. If you've ever been someone who was a people pleaser, that's low self-worth. If you are being bullied, that is low self-worth, because these people that are bullying you are only reflecting what is going on inside of you internally. And if you're internally beating yourself up, that's going to be reflected to you by people. It's been a lot of emotions this year, and it's also been very, very beautiful because once I discovered this and started to see my external experiences from like a bird's eye view, I realized, wow, I can shift this. And once I started to shift it, my life started to change. I guess I'll tell a story, and this is a very vulnerable episode and I'm just laying it out for you. So maybe you could learn something from it, because again, like once I started to adapt and started to really observe how I was acting and what was happening in my life, and if I didn't like what I was observing, I was able to shift it. So this year, everything that's been happening in my life, instead of really being mean at myself or trying to change anything, I've really just been taking it as like a test. Like, what can I learn from this? And I think that's what we should do throughout our entire life with every experiences. But specifically this year, I'm just like, why the fuck is this happening? What can I learn from it? A lot of it has been rooted in that self-worth that I had about myself. And here's just another thing. It's like, if you're treating other people better than how you treat yourself, again, that's like low self-worth. And it's like, why do we do that? Like, why can't we treat ourselves as well as we treat our best friend? It's silly, you guys. So I'm going to read this message I sent a friend, just so you can see like what was unraveled. Okay, I just said a bunch of shit. And then I was like, okay, my health is not optimal no matter how much effort I put or how much money I invest in myself. My bank account is the lowest it's ever been. I used to have a blank amount of money in my account, and now I have blank amount of money, and I have no secure jobs. I live at home. I have to rely on other people. Everything I put out in this world doesn't quote unquote land. I'm literally losing money, time, and the effort of things I release. I'm telling you, I'm really calling myself out here. And what I fucking learned from all of this is that I have very, very low self-worth. In my entire life, I was striving to quote unquote succeed at all these external things to validate my value. And even when I started to work on my self-worth, I was still doing it for the wrong reasons. I was trying to fix my problems internally so they would reflect externally, so I could make money and live my dream life. So what am I supposed to do with all these reflections? Well, right now I have no fucking idea, but I know for damn sure that I signed up for this shit show, and before anything starts to change externally, I have to go deep into my full self. See myself fully, all caps, when I have absolutely nothing. I am at the lowest I've ever been in my life, and I know I'm here because I have to see the value in myself even when I have nothing. And I said I even have to ask one of my BFFs to tell me all the amazing things about me because I literally don't see it. He has to fucking check me. And then I was like, if you need me to check you, I will. And people can be proud of you for everything, but you have to be proud of yourself in this life. So it sounds like I'm at rock bottom, but guess what? Rock bottom is the changing point. And I really want to highlight something I said in here is I'm at the lowest point in my life I've ever been. And I am here right now. I know I signed up for this fucking mission on this earth because I have to see the value in myself when I have quote unquote nothing, which granted, I have a lot of fucking things, but from what I wanted at this age to what I have now is not what I thought I was going to have. And that's where the disillusion comes in, and the confusion is when we think we're supposed to be somewhere and we're not. And then you're like, well, why the fuck aren't I there? Am I not manifesting enough? Am I not doing all the right things? And it's like, no, it's because your journey is just not there yet. Deep in my soul, I have so much creativity and all these creative passions and all this stuff. And so, I mean, you've seen it. I fucking do the books and I do the reels, and it's like, I love doing those. I was putting out all these things and they weren't making a profit. And I was tying making a profit, making a value off the things I was producing, and I was tying it to the value of myself. And it's because deep down, I fucking love to be an actress. I love to create. I love to do all these things. But I didn't see that in myself internally. And I was relying on external sources to validate that worth for me. And guess what, people? It's never going to fucking happen. At least in my journey. And it's kind of like you'd look at these pop stars who like blew up overnight and it received like a ton of external validation. And then later down in their career, they have their downfall. And that is because they fucking popped off super quick and it wasn't sustainable because they were not vibrating from a healthy place. Like for Justin Bieber, for example, like that guy literally blew up overnight, had huge success, and now he's just kind of fucking falling off the earth. I mean, there's a lot of things tied in that situation probably, but it's just an example is like when you blow up and you get all this external validation, but you don't feel it internally, the universe or God, whatever you believe in, source, is going to completely redirect your life and show you that those external things are not going to give you the worth that you are meant to see yourself. And how I view it is I think there are some soul missions that us as a collective all are like signed up for. So for example, like I believe that all humans have the same soul mission of coming down to this earth and seeing their own self-worth and value. That's just something I think everyone is supposed to learn about themselves. Is that true? I don't fucking know. It's what I believe in. And right now I'm really in the trenches trying to find mine. A really good way to kind of see where you're at in this is if you dropped fucking everything. Everything in your life got deleted. Your Instagram, your followers, your job title, everything that you do just got completely dropped, and all you had left was yourself and your environment and then your relationships. Like, how would you feel about yourself? And actually, when I did this exercise, I was like, wow, I never saw how proud I was for the life I created. I saw my relationships and I said, I have some fucking bomb ass relationships in my life. I'm so proud of myself for that. And then I saw my environment and I was like, you know what? I live in a pretty cool place. I'm super close to nature. I've got the sun every day. Like, it's pretty fucking rad where I'm at. And I do things that I love. I go on walks. I do my writing. And I kind of have a lot of freedom. And so when I did this exercise, I was kind of like, wow, I really like myself. Even if, Instagram got deleted, my podcast, like my book, it all disappeared. I'm like, you know what? I actually really like myself. And I never saw that because I was relying my value on the external things that were quote unquote not popping off, like my books. I sold enough, okay? I sold enough. I know they landed in the hearts of who needed them. But, I didn't get a publishing deal from it, or I didn't make $1 million off of it. And so I was relying on that external value to determine the value in myself. And that's so silly. It's so silly. Things are so silly when we actually take a bird's eye view out and see how we're running as a program. And then it's like my reels. Like I literally will be laughing at myself, and I don't know, this is just me, or like me and my friends will be laughing our asses off of something we made, and then literally it will get like 10 likes, and I'm like, but it's funny. But I was relying on other people to determine that it was funny to me because I wasn't truly at a soul level believing in myself. This is where I know I'm at in my life, where I literally have quote unquote nothing. I have no job title. I have no secure income. I just am just at a place where I am raw. I'm so raw right now where I have to fucking see the value in myself for who I am at a soul level with quote unquote nothing externally, where I have to see and create the internal value before anything around me changes. And I could easily go out and get a job that makes a lot of money. Like I could go and be a bottle service waitress, or I don't fucking know. I have a lot of things I could go do and make a lot of money, and I probably would start feeling a lot better about myself because I was getting an external value. But is that going to fix the problem internally that I'm facing? No, it's not. So I am having to, at this point in my life, dig deep and see the value I am as a fucking soul. And I seriously think everyone on this earth is put to the test of that because we are goddamn born worthy. And I say this all the time, but it's like I don't even believe it. And I used to need external things to validate that self for me. And even when I started doing this self-worth work, I still was doing it for the wrong reasons because I still was like, well, if I work on myself internally and build a lot of self-worth, my external world can change. And that's still doing it for the wrong reasons. You have to see your self-worth as a human, period. That is one of our core missions. I believe it is, or at least in my life and clearly in my chart. I clearly signed up for a dramatic life. Like I know I did that. I don't think anyone would sign up for the childhood I experienced if I was not meant to live a dramatic life and share my stories. And that alone I should just value because I'm a silly soul and I signed up for a very silly life. And I think I just get too hard on myself. And I think a lot of people just get too hard on themselves. We're all our own worst critic. And it's like, why? Why do we do that? And it sounds so much easier said than done. And trust me, it is easier said than done because I've been fucking working on it. And I've been even wanting to make this podcast for so long because I feel it's so important and it's like tied to everything and everyone's career is just, it's like, why are you doing the things you're doing? Do you really want to be doing that? Or do you just think you have to do it to make yourself feel valued? Look, I'm being a big girl right now and I'm checking my notes. Let's see. This is one thing I said. I wrote this on a walk where I get a lot of my downloads. God would never put you on this earth with a negative balance where you have to go and find your self-worth externally. Like you come here whole, and for some reason when we grow up, I don't know if we lose parts of ourselves or we get covered up. I think it's more of a blind spot. Like we forget and we lose that sense of self-worth because maybe you were raised in a family where you had to do sports, you had to get straight A's, or you're not able to go out on the weekends, or you're going to mean nothing to me if you don't get on the b-ball team, or you don't ace this test or get straight A's. Like, you know, thankfully my family, wasn't raised in that. My family couldn't give two shits about what I did at school or sports. There was more other fucked up things. But then I see it's like, then people go and they work their fucking asses off and it's killing their bodies, and then they're like so unhappy, but they've tied their self, and it's not their fault, but they've tied their, well, maybe it is because they signed that soul contract, but this is a lesson they're meant to learn on this life. But they kept tying their self-worth to an external thing because that's just how they were raised. And where my lack of self-worth came from, I don't fucking know. Probably just my entire life being raised with people who were not supportive. And granted, it's not their fault. It's not their fault at all because I signed up for this and I have unconditional love. But when you're bullied your whole life by literally the closest people in your circle, like, it's gonna affect you. And it fucking has affected me. And I'm 29 and I'm like, why isn't anything in my life working? Quote unquote working. But it's because I still have not seen the value in myself. And when I was reading off that text, I literally would have to go to friends and be like, I do all these things out in this world, but I still feel shitty about myself. And it's like, oh, like, why are you doing it, Taylor? And I got to the root of it. Even when it comes to like modeling and acting, like, I've been wanting to do that since I was a little child. Like, literally 4 or 5 years old, I just wanted to be on stage and I wanted to be an actress. So all of that comes from like such a true, pure heart of just wanting to perform and just be this artist and do theater and do acting. And I love to play and I love to model. Are you kidding me? I love to be a girl, like putting on dress up clothes. It's like being a little girl but a big girl when you get to be a model, because you get to put on clothes and you get to dress up, and it's like, I love to do that stuff so much. And I think I got so lost in that. So when I initially went into it, I remember when I was like 9 and 10, I got signed with my first agency, and even the little photos of me, like, I was this chunky little chubby girl, and she wanted to be a model and she wanted to be a runway model, and I knew it was always a part of me that just loved that. But when you get into that industry and the experiences start to develop in you when you don't have that deep soul awareness, and I definitely got lost in translation throughout this process, because when I got signed later, when I was like 19 after high school, I was so fucking excited because I was doing what I loved again. But then you go to auditions and then you go to castings and you don't get the job. And then you start tying your value to booking those jobs. And so what once started as a passion and a sole desire, it ended in a casualty fire because I was tying my value to me landing jobs and me booking jobs. So every job I went to, I was like, I have to get booked. I have to get this one. I have to get these Instagram likes because those determine if I'm a good model. I have to book this big role in this acting job because that's going to determine if I'm a good actress. And that's where I got lost. And it literally hit me like a ton of bricks when I was like, oh, why am I even doing any of this in the first place? It's because I love it. I've always loved it. I grew up doing it. But I got lost because I kept tying my value and my worth to what I was producing. And that's an actor's downfall. That's a model's downfall, because then that's when you think there's something wrong with you. I thought there was something wrong with me, and maybe there is something wrong with me, okay? Maybe there is a screw loose, and there is something wrong with me, but I just got lost in why I was doing anything, and so through this experience, I was brought back to myself. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm still going to be doing the things I'm doing, but you know what? I'm not going to put so much pressure on myself to succeed. I know any artist who makes what they make, they want to reach as many souls as they can. And of course, it's an artist's dream to make a living off of your art. No shit, I want a big publishing deal so I could not have to work and I could spend all my time writing, or I could get picked up and be an actress and make all this money so I could have the freedom to continue doing that. I think that's literally anyone's dream. It's like the starving artist. Like they want to have that free time and that freedom to create because it's what's in their soul. And so we start to tie our worth to a energy exchange, and that energy exchange is money. So if we're not making money producing the shit we want to create, it starts to wreck on us. And I was getting wrecked because I was at a point where I'm like, I've spent literally thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, all my money on healing and going to events to rediscover myself. And I've spent so much energy, so much money and time and effort, and being the best human being I can be so I can help people. Because at the end of the day, I do want to help people. And I know why I am here on this earth. But right now, being 29, my career in that hasn't kicked off. Okay? So I was tying my ability to do readings, to do intuitive guidance, to offer medicine. I was all tying that to being valuable by the exchange I was getting. And I wasn't getting any exchange for it. So I was looking at myself like I'm worthless and that what I have to offer is not good value. So I was letting my external exchanges determine how good I was as a person. First of all, I wasn't really putting myself out there because of, again, like the lack of self-worth. I was undervaluing myself. So people, as a reflection, are going to undervalue me. What came first, the chicken or the egg? What comes first? It's always you, because your internal state is always going to reflect externally. People get so stuck, at least for me, I was so stuck and frustrated because I'm like, everything I put out, it's not working. And it's because I wasn't seeing the value internally. I was doing it because it was coming from a place of this needs to do well so I can feel well about myself. And that's always going to end bad, you guys. And what's a beautiful lesson is this last year, I started to book a lot more modeling jobs because I started to approach it from a passion. I stopped seeking like, I need this job to make me a good model, or I need this job to make me a good actress. I just said, I changed the intention. Why am I applying for this job? Why am I going to this casting? It's because I love to do this. I love to play on stage. I love to be a model. And guess what? I started to book a lot more because I was approaching it from a different way. Be the observer of your life and how you're approaching things. And if things aren't quote unquote working out the way you thought they would, just kind of dig deep and see where you're approaching it. For me, I was putting so much pressure on my passions to succeed or to support me. And that's where the frustration came from. And I just started to get really, really frustrated with myself because I was putting so much pressure on the external exchange to validate who I was. And I really had to freaking step back and say, okay, girl, we need a redirection. Why are you doing this in the first place? Do you really need to be making $1 trillion off of this? Or are you really doing it because your soul wants to share? And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. And the energy shifted and my external environment shifted too. Because when you make those shifts in yourself per frequency, per the law of frequency, your external life has to change. It's like the tuning forks. I fucking love tuning forks. If one vibrates and then the one next to it, if you're on YouTube, you're getting a great demonstration with my little fingers. If these two tuning forks are at the same frequency and they're right next to each other, if one starts shaking, the other one is going to start shaking because it's the same frequency hitting. When you have one tuning fork that's a different hertz than the other one and one starts shaking, the other one's not going to shake. So if you're trying to attract things in your life, you have to get on the same frequency as them. So if I'm trying to attract love into my life, I have to fucking love myself. If I want pure love and a pure relationship, I have to start vibrating that pure love for myself inside of me. And I know people are asking, well, what about the toxic relationships people attract? And what if you are in a relationship and you're not attracting pure true love? Well, first of all, that's a different soul contract. And second of all, if you're attracting toxic relationships, there's something toxic relationship in you, and it's all a reflection. Or maybe you are in a really healthy relationship, and if you're on YouTube, you're still getting a great diagram with my hands. If you are in a healthy relationship and it is pure true love, but you still don't feel that about yourself, then you attracted a pure true love partner to help reflect and to help build that within you. You see, we all sign up for different missions, and we all have our own things going on that we need to learn in this life. And the best thing you can do is to really zoom out and see, okay, why isn't this quote unquote working? Like, where is it working? Maybe it doesn't look like it's working, but it's working for you. And right now in my life, I'm making this work for me, okay? Because I'm at a pretty low point, and I have to see the value in myself at this lowest point in my life. Do you see? Because if I want to build the life I will build, I have to fucking really value myself. And I'm at a point where I have to make that change. And guess what? I decided to make that change publicly because I know I'm here to help people. And I've been through a fucking lot. And if I can share something that's helped me, maybe it can spark a little help in you. And one thing that has made me a great intuitive mentor is I've been at so many fucking low points in my life and have experienced a lot. So I can see that and I can feel that within you, because you're not going to feel anything in someone else unless you have felt it in yourself before. It's like how triggers work. For example, my brother called me a stupid idiot the other day as a joke. And I go, oh my God, that kind of hurt me. But it's because I believed that about myself. It hurts because I believe it within me. But if he said, Taylor, your face is stupid and ugly, it wouldn't hurt me because I don't think that about myself. I actually think I'm very pretty, and I know I'm very pretty, and I don't think I'm ugly. That comment didn't hurt me because I know it's not true in my head. I know I'm pretty. And so when someone says I'm ugly, I'm just like, whatever, I don't fucking care. But the fact that he said I'm a stupid idiot, it hurt me because I was like, okay, my brother, he's sounding really mean right now, and he kind of is, but he said it as a joke. But he called me a stupid idiot, and I got really offended and hurt because I believed that about myself. And things don't hurt unless you believe it about yourself. And maybe let's see, I can give another example. Like, if someone's really self-conscious about their nose and someone said, your nose is so big, they're probably going to get really upset and get really offended. But if they're super confident about their nose and they don't think that about themselves, and someone said that to them, you have a big nose, they're not going to fucking care. And this is how like triggers and reflections work. And I don't even remember why I brought that up, but maybe it'll make sense in the recordings. So when it comes to your self-worth and finding your self-worth, you just have to ask yourself, how can you love yourself more in this situation? Whatever we do, it doesn't declare our self-worth. Our jobs, what we put out into this world, what we do for other people, like, those are all great things, and I think we should do that. I think we should help one another, but that doesn't determine your self-worth. I believe as a human collective, we all need to see our own self-worth. And maybe if we do, there will be less division and less, I don't know, I'm not Gandhi, like I can't declare any of this, but maybe if people felt a little bit better about themselves, there would be less pressure to succeed or competition. I've always hated competition my whole life, and maybe that's just because I'm bad at sports, but maybe I just hated it because at a soul level, I just didn't fucking care. And I don't let that determine my worth. And you see the really competitive people and you're just like, oh, they have to win this because, or else they're going to feel like shit about themselves. And that's probably true, which there's something wrong with that. That's their soul mission. But It's just like, why are you doing the things you're doing? And how can you love yourself more in it? Okay? Does that sound good? Are you going to go into your life thinking, how can I love myself more? Because that would make me really happy. It's like people pleasing. Okay, I know there are a lot of people pleasers on here because I probably attract them because I was a people pleaser, and it's like I felt very low in my self value and my self worth, so I had to please people to make me seem like a good person. And that's just like, you just burn yourself out and you do things you don't want to fucking do, and you let those things determine your worth. I wrote notes today and I don't know if they helped, but yeah. So if I could leave you with another thing, is that I am an intuitive guidance. Let's boost myself up a little bit. Let's boost my self-worth a bit. I am an intuitive guidance mentor, and I can help you with whatever you want in life. I'm just here to be your fucking cheerleader and to help you live the best life that you want to live. Because if I know one thing, it's that I've felt a lot in this world, and I just want everyone to live their best life. And I'm coaching myself through a lot right now, just with the little shifts I've experienced with what I've learned from my mentors or whatever. A few little things can be life changing if you just have that someone mirror it back to you, because sometimes we get so in our heads that we need that external support to just mirror back and reflect what we're feeling so we can then improve our lives. And I've felt a lot in this life, and if I can reflect something back in you and it could maybe improve your life even just a little bit, I'm just like, that's what I'm here for. I believe we are all here to walk each other home, and we have to walk ourselves home first. And that's what I'm here. I'm here to share my story, and I'm here to help you one on one with that too. So, also, I hope I can make you laugh. If someone told me I wasn't funny like a year ago, I would probably be really hurt at that because I felt that within myself. But, I'm pretty good at seeing that part of me. And if you don't think I'm funny, then that's on you. So, you guys, it's the secret script. Why are you doing the things you're doing? Is it coming from a full cup or an empty cup? And there is no right or wrong. There is no right or wrong on this podcast. It is just be the observer of your life and how can you love yourself a little bit more? Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. And I just want you to know I adore you. I support you in whatever life goals you want. And if you want to pay me to be your head cheerleader, I offer that too in my intuitive guidance mentorships. Maybe I didn't talk myself up too much about being at a place where I'm kind of in the trenches in my life, but you just know I'm a real human. You know I'm real. You know I go through the experiences and I squeeze and dig out absolutely every source of information I can to improve my life in every experience. And that's a gift. That's a gift I have. And if I could share my gifts with you, then I've done my part in this world. So I'll leave you with that, people. And just know that just by being a soul on this earth, you are worthy. Okay? And God loves you. If God is perfect and God made you, He made no mistakes. Okay? So you're perfect just the way you are. You came from a perfect source. You came from source perfect, I guess you could say. Okay? Jesus loves me, yes, I know. Okay, I'm really gonna end it now. Okay, bye.